we are back again with the thrilling adventures of the Kobold crew. It has been quite a while since we've streamed and since we've played, but I am very excited to get back into it. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go right in. Last time for the Kobolds. After making it through trials and tribulations of the Sunblight Fortress, and putting an end to the Duergar mastermind and cruel tyrant Zardarok, the party had little time to spare to stop the onslaught of Zardarok's creation, the Chardalyn Dragon. But before that, they hoped to gain use of the strange sequences of numbers that they had found earlier, and hoped to maybe perhaps find some source of disabling the dragon from within the fortress. After stabling a few traps and using Meepo's disguise of Grandolpha to avoid an encounter with some Duergar hammerers, the party plundered the Citadel's vault and gained a significant amount of treasure and magical items, one of which was a wand of web. However, there was no definitive way to shut down the dragon, much to the party's dismay. After leaving the Citadel, they were met by Velin Harpel, a member of the Arcane Brotherhood whom they had met previously. She offered her assistance in fast transportation and help against the dragon if the party would help her in recovering both a professor orb, an artifact and heirloom that was stolen from her by an ex-colleague, to find, as well to find the Codicil of White, an ancient book written in Oral's own hand, which could be the key to opening the Ragged Glacier to find the lost city of Netheril, her expedition's main goal. The party accepted her help and rode swiftly to Tourmaline to regroup. There, they met with Tourmaline's speaker, whom they informed about the dragon and, possibly, any Duergar saboteurs who were in the mine, to which they had started evacuating people from the city. To let them better prepare, and to facilitate a plan hatched by the inclusion of their new tool in the Wand of Web, the speaker let them sleep in the town hall. And, finally relieved and able to recuperate themselves, the party earned a well-deserved night's sleep. But upon the dawn, they were quickly awakened by the sounds of collapsing buildings and screams in the air, to which they acted quickly. Skinnock and Scales on the top of the roof, and the rest of the party on the ground. While the ground party were out in the open, and prime targets for the dragon, Skinnock sprung out and webbed the dragon in place, leaving the rest of the party to press the advantage. Due to this, the dragon was quickly subdued, and 10 towns was saved. And where we left off, along with Hawks steering the other villagers away from touching the corruptive metal remains of the dragon, was Velin asking, "So, about our arrangement. Are you able to help me now?"
Yes.
Excellent.
I mean, we gotta clean up this mess a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Especially while I still got my protection going.
Oh, if you must, but I think...
Well, you go ahead and explain what we need to do, and we'll just walk and talk while we do it and pick up the mess.
Oh, very well. I'm not going to be touching any of that, though. She kind of claps her hands, and the other kobolds near her side kind of like glance at each other, and her kobold assistants start gathering up and like helping you with all of what you would require in the meantime.
We'd be using like the 10-towners shovels and stuff to do it.
Oh yeah, you basically, given what you know about Chardalyn, all of you would be instructing the villagers to not use their hand, like not get into any sort of physical contact with the metal, for fear of its energies seeping into either them or the surrounding area. So you're very keen on instructing them proper disposal. And so most of the piles of Chardalyn are kind of gathered either into barrels or in crates, or like, and they're kind of like shoved into like a very kind of dark recess of Town Hall, where its eventual fate will probably be decided upon at a later date. Right now, the problem is just being shoved in a corner and postponing its eventual fate. Upon which, of course, Villain is re-describing what she needs from you. She re-informs you, of course, how the Professor Orb was stolen. Now, she did tell you this before, but as a refresher, the orb itself is named Professor Scant, and the Professor Orb is a magical item it is basically a sentient item that has a vast store of personal knowledge that has been passed down through her family for generations. Now, this orb was stolen from her by one of her previous colleagues known as Nas Lantimir, a divination wizard who both she and Villain were, I'll say, quite the rivalry. And once they kind of reached, all the expedition members reached 10 Towns and Icewind Dale, and they split up. From the information that Villain has gathered since you last met, it seems that Nas chartered a ship and ventured off into the Sea of Moving Ice. And that was the last anyone heard of her. And given everything that Villain has come to know now, she now believes that the orb itself is probably in the same place where the Frost Maiden's lair might be. A floating island that moves about, and where the source of the aurora is. And she has learned this through more divination magic in her arcane eye. She kind of lets you all in on this as she kind of occasionally adjusts the eye patch on her face. Kind of mulling about and kind of... She seems a little bit impatient. She seems to want to get on the move, but of course she... Knowing that she would, that she is at your kind of behest, she doesn't press the issue.
Well, we were planning on going to that place eventually, right? And we were planning on doing it at nighttime when she's not there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was about the extent of it.
Well, I guess there's no time like the present.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I will say at this point, let's see, where is... do I have... here we are. You all watch as Villain's snow owl familiar, who during this time has been just kind of sitting on Vlin's shoulder, and she occasionally kind of squishes under its chin. You watch as the familiar kind of looks up, it kind of floops up a little bit, and you kind of look where the familiar is looking, and you see a familiar-looking owl that is flying in the air. Probably about, I'd say, 50 or so feet up, and it's just kind of doing a little circle around. Other than that...
Friend of yours.
No, I don't believe so.
Had we connected this owl to
You connected this owl to Rionok, actually.
Rionok, right?
You at least saw it in her presence in the mirror.
Right, I'm just gonna wave at it.
Okay. The owl seems to acknowledge your presence, but does not seem to make any other contact. Although, it flies around once, twice, and then it lands on a roof, just kind of looking down. I don't recall... Hold on a minute. She kind of squints at it really closely. No. Avarice doesn't have an owl familiar. Unless... Oh well, can't be too careful. And she kind of holds out a wand and kind of points it at the owl. And the owl goes wait!
No,
wait,
don't.
Hold on! Wait! No, don't do that! Don't do that! No. Oh. Oh, it's an awakened animal, not a familiar. Ha, my mistake. And she kind of like squints and kind of puts the wand away. There's no need for that. Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to pop in, just see how Meepo was doing. Which I guess since now I'm forced to communicate. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's your name?
Well, yeah. Call me basic, but I just like to be called Snowy.
All right.
I like snow. It's nice, it's soft. I like it everywhere. Yeah, it's nice. But no, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Bird brain. Ha. Well, Reenact says hi. She was gonna meet up with you at the Citadel, but you weren't there, so she instead, helped along with people trying to evacuate. So, there's that.
Well, let her know I'm sorry she missed us. We were kind of in a rush.
Right, so, yeah, about that. She went back to see an old friend, and, well, she said you know what she means by that.
An elk?
I didn't get the impression that it was Goldhorn. Goldhorn was one of the ones that was helping some of the people escape. The owl kind of flips itself and kind of preens under its feathers. The owl familiar of Villain, by the way, is just kind of staring at this other owl and is just completely floofed, like in the threatening pose. You okay, honey? Don't get your feathers in a tussle, alright? Floofs even more intently. Was someone going to say something? I think I overspoke of someone. Nope. All right. So, well, okay. I mean, I know she was heading west. You know of anyone that she knows that's heading west? Or that is west? If you'd like, you can make an intelligence check with advantage. Oh, sorry. Hold on. My connection just went bad for a second. Could you repeat that? Am I breaking up for anyone, or is Steven breaking up? Beans. My internet is being weird again. I'm sorry, everyone. I paused for a second. Technical difficulties. It happened when I got on Discord the first time, but now it's happening again, and now I can't hear anyone without it turning robotic, so just bear with me here. Is there something I can do, maybe? Is there a setting I can adjust? No, not the werebear. Okay, it's green again. Can someone speak up for me?
Hello, I am here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, that's better. That's much better. I don't know why that happened. This has not been an issue recently until just now, so I don't know what's causing this.
Can you relay the message again? Because I was distracted as well.
No, not at all. I am happy to do so because everything just kind of went fuzzy. So what he basically said was that Renox said that she wants to meet with Meepo, and that she was headed west to meet an old friend. So in that case, all of you go ahead and make intelligence checks with advantage.
Is she looking for Savage?
Maybe she's talking about Ven, the lake monster.
Wait.
Okay, 22, 17, 6. this makes sense for skill.
Oh, intelligence. Oh, you said with advantage?
With
I
advantage,
didn't
yeah.
hear that.
To 17, okay. So Scales, you kind of scratch your head a little bit. You don't quite remember entirely what she might mean by that, but for the rest of you, you think, west, what's west? And then you remember, Angajuk, and his bell is west, near the Sea of Moving Ice.
Oh. Right, because this map is right. Yes, okay. Brain work good today.
Big brain. Don't worry, buddy. I'm right there with you. I mean. Yeah. So, to be fair, Angajuk spells a little bit more northwest than straight west, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, she just she just wanted me to relay the message that she's waiting for you. That's all I got. And who is this Ryunok individual? Velen kind of like tilts her head and looks in your direction, Meepo.
Friend of mine, follower of Eldath.
I see. Well,
What's that have to do with you?
well, if we're going to, well, I prefer to know who I'm
Going that
working
way
with.
anyway.
Well, no, I like to know who I'm working with. Is that a problem?
No. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired from all the... Maybe it's the chartling.
To be fair, oh, sorry, I knocked my Kobold knocked something off the sled. Oh no, I've lost my train of thought. Gosh darn it, Dennis. Sorry.
That's an unusual name for a kobold.
Well, that's fine. That's my nickname for him. His kobold name is too long to pronounce in Draconic.
That makes sense.
Well, I mean, technically, it's Draconic. Yes, so you see, it's a complete mouthful. Anyway, be sure to get moving. She kind of like claps her hands, and all of the kobolds move towards the sleds, starting to get ready. And she kind of makes a motion towards Muerte, who currently is still in the midst of bloodlust and just is attempting to calm down.
Violence, it cannot be contained.
Could you control your beast, please? She makes me nervous. And then Muerte, as soon as she says that, even though Muerte can't understand her, there's this... Muerte just kind of looks in her direction. It just kind of like
The
just
head
looks.
snaps up.
Fox will give a big thumbs up and be like, "She makes us nervous too."
Huh.
It keeps us on our toes.
Muerte Blanca.
There's also the anatomy of our legs forces us to stay on our toes. No, it's not that important.
I see. Just make sure she stays far away from me. And with that, she kind of gets on her sled and just kind of waits for you to get onto yours. Onto the walrus.
Who is putting Muerte up on the thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. Who is?
On what thing?
On the sled. Who's connecting her?
I might actually have.
I will assist.
I have advantage on animal handling. My animal handling check is not going to be that great, but I have advantage on it.
That's better than nothing.
Yes, I will invoke the Frost Rune and attempt to animal handle.
You know what? We need to live, so I'm just gonna go ahead and unleash a flash of genius. I'll walk you through. I'll walk you through how the harness goes on from a safe distance.
It's a good thing, too, because Muerte rolled a 14 on her own will check. So it's a good thing. So you feel the inner wrath starting to flare up as her feathers start to poof, and you can see that she's starting to get like that, taking that combative stance, like don't mess with me right now, like don't get near me. But Skinnock, with your flash of genius, you're like, okay, no, back off, hold on, and you're just kind of like letting her calm down just a little bit.
She's angry.
Ooh, she mad. Which, of course, once Merte is allowed to calm down and you give her the proper space, she turns around and you quickly get the harness over her, and she allows this with some muffled of annoyance. But she is now connected to the cart. Or the sled, rather. So, right now, day-wise, it's literally right in the morning. Because you guys just got off the long rest, and so it's right after the dragon battle. So probably, all in all, the conversation probably be only, even though you don't know the exact time, it's still it's still early morning, I'd say. So you have plenty of time left in the day. So I assume you guys wish to make your way out then?
Yes, that works for me.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm going wherever you guys are going.
Alright. So, you guys will start to head out into the tundra proper. And let's see here. As you can clearly tell, Snoring Bowser is in full force today.
Well, it's not the loudest I've ever heard him.
No, but he looks really cute right now, though. He's his head is hanging off the edge of the. Well, it's not off the edge of the bed, but it's like right next to it. So his head is slightly lolling to the side. He's doing the blep too with his tongue.
Nice. How is Baby Yeti doing?
Baby Yeti. Well, I'll tell you how Baby Yeti is doing. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Skinnock, you feel a pong to the back of your head as that leather cloth ball that was made for the Yeti bounces off the back of your head, and you just hear a muffled in the cart or in the sled. Indeed. So the Yeti is in a very playful mood right now, but clearly wants attention. So, as you head out, though, you will travel for a good while, but eventually you will get to the point in the day where you're probably only maybe a few miles, like 8 miles out, and it's not quite time yet for the day to end, but Angajuk's Bell is only perhaps a couple hours away at most. So you can push a little bit further if you want, but risk exhaustion for your animals.
I think Muerte did more than enough last time. I think we should take it easy this time.
Alright, fair enough. If everyone else is in agreement, then we can all go ahead and take a long rest then, which will reset everyone up again.
It's palette.
Indeed. Let's see here. So at that point, it becomes like a little bit of a contest of who creates the Leomund's tiny hut for the night. Either Villain or Scales if they're up to the challenge, can create it. So either one of them can do so. But either way, you will have shelter for the night.
No offense, but I'd prefer scales.
Technically, we could both have them do it, and then the kobolds from that group can sleep under one.
That's true. There's enough of us. We probably both do.
That is true. I don't mind housing my own. Yeah, we'd appreciate that. You know, we like our space. No offense.
It gets real crowded.
Yeah. It's kind of like a very silent agreement at that point, and at that, you both have your own. Both groups have their own separate Lehman's huts. So I now get to roll in the encounters for the day. So you will have a very peaceful sleep. Let's see here.
All of my resources. I did not use a whole lot of resources, but I did use some critical ones.
Yeah, that's because you kinda dunked on the dragon.
Yeah,
We
I
just
didn't wanna,
lost someone.
We just lost Caleb.
Oh shoot, we did.
It's raining here, so I don't know.
Oh no, Caleb!
Did he disappear on roll 22?
He's still there on roll 20 for now.
So his internet's not out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he might disappear any second now, because there might be a little bit of a delay. We'll see in like a
That's
couple
true.
seconds.
Well, you continue doing your rolling, and we'll wait.
Yeah,
to see.
let's see here. So that's a 1d8. This is from
There
my
he is.
school
Hello,
site.
welcome back.
Hey, welcome back.
That was weird.
Everything okay?
Yeah, for some reason Discord shut down.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's been doing that to me too, but it only does it after like 10:30 for me usually.
Hmm.
But I'm here now, and I heard we had a long rest, and
Indeed.
I'm good to go.
Not much rest.
It's nice to have my emboldening bond back.
Just rolling stuff. Hey guys.
It's Snowstorm, right?
But like, okay, so
Every time. First dice is the encounter dice. The second die is the blizzard dice. Roll the encounter and see the wills. Roll the blizzard die and add 1. If the total is higher than the encounter, roll the encounter happens in a blizzard. And this encounter happens to be in the morning. So
like, what's happening apart from the blizzard? I think we can assume that the blizzard is always going to be happening, but like,
Is there something else?
is there something else? That is a very good question. Well, the good news is, because this is happening in the morning, you will feel, well, you will hear some snuffling outside. And you particularly, Scales, will recognize this immediately as you start hearing grunts in Yeti language. As currently you see a group of... Ooh, actually, hold on. Let me double check. A group of 3 Yetis are in the midst of coming upon your sled. And they're not quite there to it yet, but they are like just now coming upon your group. And you probably only have like maybe a few more minutes left of that Liebman's tiny hut.
We should probably keep them from pillaging our sled.
yeah.
You also see the Yeti tyke is also perking up at the sound of the other Yetis. And it's kind of like pushing up on you scales, like.
I don't know. Oh,
I think we should teach this kid Draconic.
Go ahead and roll. Ooh, oh, never mind. Never mind. You're casting a spell. All right. What is your major image, Scales?
A much larger Yeti. Almost abominably so.
Very
Cool,
well.
Yeti.
Go ahead and roll either performance or intimidation with advantage.
I wonder if I have. Don't.
Yeah, it's like as this abominable Yeti appears, all the others just seem to like kind of like all startled by the sudden appearance of this giant version of their own kind.
What checks did you say?
Oh, either intimidation or performance with advantage. Good old intimidation.
I'm going to use thaumaturgy to make Yeti noises, kind of like breathing heavily and like growling.
You watch as they all just start like on all fours, just sprinting away as fast as they can, heading for the hills. And you are left alone. And you watch as the Yeti tyke is like kind of like waves at them as they go.
There's that little guy. They weren't here to be friends with us. And I don't think they would take too kindly to a little guy like you.
Okay. He replies back in Yeti. He kind of looks down a bit meekly and just kind of like bats the sack leather ball a few times.
I'm gonna gather up some snow, some freshly fallen snow, and throw a snowball at him.
It smacks him in the back, and he immediately goes down to the snow and just starts batting you with snowballs. You've begun a war.
And I realize how outmatched I am.
Well, let's have a little fun mini game here. Roll me 3 dexterity checks. Hang on. Where's my phone? Let's see here. Yeah, just give me 3 dexterity checks and I'll make 3 of my own. This is from the other profile, that's fine. 1. Okay, so that's 2 successes but 2 failures, and that is... Where the natural 20 is an automatic success, and he has 2 failures. So, the Yeti takes a brilliant hit onto your face with 1, but you have more endurance, and you're able to pelt him with several snowballs, one after the other. And he eventually says like, "I surrender. Enough. I'm done. But all the time, it's clear the Yeti tyke is clearly liking the stimulation. He is very happy right now. And the attitude that he seemed to have before seems to fade away, and he's a little bit in better spirits, this little tyke. Well, shall we carry on then? Velen says as she gets her kobolds together.
Makes sense to me.
I have nothing against it. Everybody have their breakfast?
Yes, make sure you eat your rations. Lord knows there's nothing else worth eating around these parts.
When we were stopped, were we just stopped out in like a middle of a field somewhere?
Yeah, a bit of like a snowy kind of plain right here, yeah.
Okay.
There's like a couple hills that are quite large. Like large snowy banks that kind of block out distance to some degree, but otherwise you have a pretty good field of vision throughout. Now at this point, now the snow is the blizzard has kind of come through and gone. I'm gonna say the blizzard was in the morning while you were sleeping. I'm not gonna drag this out any further than it needs to go.
Just
You guys, look,
Gross.
there've been enough blizzards in this campaign, okay?
Well, that's what the Frost Maiden's all about, isn't it? Trying to make people inconvenienced. It's working.
It is true. It is working.
really damn good at it, I have to say.
She really knows what she's doing with these blizzards.
Yeah, honestly, at most you'll have to wait like maybe another hour, but other than that, you're good to go. So, you make your way back to Ongajuk's hut. Or sorry, rather, Ongajuk's bell.
And Scales' hut.
And Scales' hut, because it was his temporary shelter for a time.
Did you leave anything behind here?
Yeah, the whole hut.
That's true, I guess.
Despite my better judgment.
Well, you've had a good time since then, right?
Shallow whimpers come from behind.
So, as you haven't quite gotten there yet, although I have moved the map. I will say, as you're approaching, you do hear a boom as you hear the bell echo out. Someone has rung Ongajuk's bell.
Well, we should check on that, right?
Well, we're coming up upon it. We'll find out soon, Belen says over the wind.
What is Hawks have a mustache?
I drew it a long time ago when we were here earlier. I drew a halo for Meepo, an afro for the Yeti Tyke, laser eyes for Skanak, wings for
I see. And
Our
musical
bird
notes
friend.
coming off of scales.
It was a moment of respite, I think. That I was filling up with doodles. But I fixed it.
So, eventually, though, it takes you probably another 20 minutes or so to reach the area in which the bell resides. But as you do, you notice that there is a female figure that is standing next to the bell. She is probably around, I'd say, 6'2". Very tall individual, very lanky as well. Upon her head rests a crown of antlers that is tied to a band that wraps around to her lower neck and the back of her skull. She has long, kind of tousled, wild brown chestnut hair. And is also kind of like tousled and wild and goes back down to her lower back. She has kind of like pinkish skin. Clearly she has seen... Either she drinks a lot or she has seen some sun, which is quite an anathema in these parts. I mean, she thinks that she's probably not necessarily from around here per se. But one thing that you do notice is her smile and her kind face. She looks kind of rugged and like kind of dirty in a lot of ways. Like there's like some mud that is caked to the furs that are like around her form, like she's kind of draped in. But despite like kind of like the wildness to her, there is a permeating aura of kindness. You just kind of like you just feel it as you see her, and she is just kind of pacing around the dock, waiting, and then eventually, you see coming out from the hole in between the two arches, in between the archway, you see Ungajuk. As a spray of seawater comes out from the hole, and he emerges slowly. Rhiannog! The whale bellows out. My old friend, you've returned to me. After all these years, I had thought that you had forgotten me. Oh, my friend, I can never forget you. Come here. And she kind of like does like a little bit of scratching on his front nose, on the front part of his face. Oh, I missed you. I hope you can forgive me for making you wait. I've been so busy. I've had a feeling. Well, in any case, I think we have company. Oh, and who might that be? And she kind of turns around, and then she catches your eyes, Meepo. Her eyes kind of go wide. You watch as she kind of takes a step backward. And then she jumps upward. And then turns into the form of a raven. And begins to fly your way.
Kind of toe the snow.
She will land right next to you, and then she will, next to your very small form, she has to kind of look down, but then she kind of realizes, oh, this position hurts my back. I don't think I'll do that. Better idea. And she kind of like leans backward and then holds out her arms and just kind of goes back first onto the ground. That's better. Hello, little raven. How are you? How are you holding up?
Well, I'm doing all right. I made a bunch of friends. It's been a while since seen you.
Oh, it's been a while, all right. Too long, I'd say.
I agree.
I'm sure you have so many questions for me, as I'm sure you know I have plenty for you. And she kind of gives you a playful poke in your stomach.
Well, let's get somewhere. Well, I guess this is as good a place as any.
I suppose it is. Who's Grumpy Gus over there? And she kind of points towards Vlyn. Who, Vlyn, by the way, as soon as she kind of like sees Rhiannog, you hear a droids under her breath.
Well, we're working together with her. She kind of helped us out a little bit earlier, and so we're helping her out here.
Well, anyone who helps out a divine follower of Eldath is a friend of mine. Speaking of which, and she gives you a sly wink, Meepo. She gives you the wink. She kind of like gets back up and does a very deep bow. You have done so much, little raven. Perhaps even more than you know. But let me get you something to eat, shall I? Hold on.
That sounds wonderful.
I'll be right back. And she sees her form kind of shifts again. Whoosh, and she begins to fly away in the form of a giant owl. And then and starts to fly away.
Well, you certainly have some interesting friends.
Well, yeah.
Don't mind me! Angajuk is like shouts over in the distance. I'm just going to wait over here for a while. Maybe I'll catch a squid. I wish to contribute. And you see him dive under the water again.
Well, maybe we should make a fire. Cold out here. Is there a chimney on this thing?
There is. And you remember there was in fact a fireplace for the hut.
Okay. So I'm going to go in and start bustling about.
Alrighty. There is a little bit of firewood left. So you can go ahead and like start a little bit of a fire.
Do I have stuff to make a fire, though?
Villain kind of folds her arms and kind of gives the rest of you a look. From what I can tell,
I don't.
you just gotta go ahead and make a survival check. See if you can rub two sticks together.
Anybody got a fire starter kit?
But pulls out a
I have
gun.
a tinderbox.
That'll work.
Ah, man. Holsters gun.
Skinnock, I appreciate it, but I think we need having the shelter stay up is a good thing.
No, I want to see him do it. I want to see how this turns out, Villain says.
All right.
Scratching your chin.
Go ahead, Skinnock.
Alright, go ahead. This is your, which is this? Is this the,
This is going to be firebolts.
Oh, good. Make an attack roll for me.
Okay. Gonna go ahead and just add on arcade firearm damage. And kapow.
Alright,
21.
roll damage for me, just cause. I see.
22 fire damage.
Just like there's a bit of a back blast. Not enough to catch you, but just enough where you're like, ugh! And you kind of have to you see like the bed is a bit on fire and you're like, ugh! And you start patting it out like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But the fire does start.
Good job, Skinnock.
So, is anyone else curious how this little kobold manages to become friends with a seemingly powerful druid? Because I am certainly curious.
I get to know that. And
It does beg a question. Also, hi, I'm here. Bean says.
Something Eldath. Pretty sure that's the answer. Peace. Yep.
Ugh. You just see Villain roll her eyes.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
You see
See,
Villain
we
just
were
taking
right.
some notes.
I feel like there's a degree to which you didn't need us to help you figure that out. But well, glad to be of assistance in telling the story.
Look. It's in my nature to ask questions, right? Even if they might seem obvious, sometimes there might be an answer that no one else can see. So sometimes you ask dumb questions to learn something.
Oh,
I
that's
suppose that makes sense.
She just kind of shrugs. It just seemed, I don't know. You don't see very many people with that level of control, I suppose, over their abilities, which this druid seems to have. So, just something I wanted to ask. Shrugs again.
really not quite sure how powerful she is.
was she talking as a bird? Or did she turn back into a
No, she
humanoid?
wasn't.
She
Okay.
turned back into a human and then turned back into a bird again.
Correct. Which at this point, as you've had a little bit of conversation, you suddenly hear a thump and then a bump against the door. Dinner's here!
Sounds like she's here.
All right, and you see you kind of like look outside, and you kind of have to shove the door open a little bit, and you see what appears to be a very old elk, probably that has been looking to as it's probably near death. As you can see, there's signs of the age on the antlers. Ah, well, here you go. Prime cooking.
It's easy.
Let me carve a little bit off for you. And she kind of starts take off. She takes a sickle from her belt and starts to carve. And you see, quick as a flash, clearly you can still see some great skill in this individual. She quickly carves up pieces of meat and starts putting them in like a little pot that she puts on the stove. She seems to be making some sort of venison stew. Very simple, no, not really any spices, but seems to be pretty basic, but might be filling. So, little raven, she kind of looks towards you, Meepo. I've been hearing about the many wonderful things you've been doing in the name of Eldeath. And the fun stories that you and your friends have that I might not have heard?
It's all I can do to try to pay back what Eldeath's done for me. Stories we came up against the dragon. And the first time we survived without so much as a scratch. The second time, well, I think I told you about that one.
Aye, the white worm has taken many lives in the tundra.
Well, if you can find him, I'd appreciate it if you could do something about it.
Oh, I'll certainly do what I can. Oh,
He's somewhere in this area too. We were on our way here when it happened.
aye, I can do what I can. Though, as you might imagine, I get quite busy trying to keep things safe in Dale.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Aye, that there is. That there is. She gives like a very solemn nod as she kind of seems to be thinking about something, and then as she kind of stirs the pot. So, tell me about your friends. Well, then maybe you can introduce yourselves to me. Although, perhaps I should introduce myself first. My name, well, I don't know if Meepo's told you, my name is Ryanak Okazadai. She'll kind of give like a deep bow. I'll post that in chat. And, well, I don't know if Meepo's told you anything about me, but, well, let's just say I helped out Meepo a long time ago. Helped him in a terrible situation that no one should ever have to go through. She kind of gives you a knowing look, Meepo.
Yeah. Right, it was before I met you, Hawks.
Right. But we came from the same clan, right?
Well,
I believe
sort of.
we had the same falling out, or the same,
we were in the same clan. If you remember right, I sort of showed up one day. That was after I first met Ryanach.
I see. So this is the first meeting before the first meeting when,
Aye. She kind of gives a nod as if she knows everything. Aye.
Hux is doing the math in his head and doesn't seem to quite understand, but just sort of nods along like, yep, okay, I guess that makes sense.
I guess there's no real reason to hide it anymore.
You mean... Oh, you haven't told them, Little Raven?
No, I haven't. It just didn't seem like it mattered.
Fair enough. It's not an easy thing to say. Especially when one's died before.
Right. Well, so I wasn't always a kobold.
Oh. Well, you make a pretty convincing kobold, so...
Well, I spent a lot of time with you guys. It's pretty easy to pick up, I think, especially given my nature. I was a Kenku before.
Those are those
Yeah.
those guys that look like
Little ravens.
oh, yes, those things. That's totally what I was thinking of.
Yeah. I was called crying child, or that's what the people said in common. It was more like wah wah.
I
I can't do it
see.
as well as I used to.
I believe it used to go la la. Well, at least that was well. He kind of gives like a little look to her.
But yeah, Renach found my. I don't know if she was there when it happened, but she found my body. And with her and Eldath together, I was reincarnated as a kobold here. And well, if you remember, back when we first started traveling as a group with Skanuk here and in the trench coat, there was that whole deal with the white stag. Yeah, that white stag's what killed me the first time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Aye, and I heard what happened. Did you I don't suppose you well, I suppose you wouldn't have if Eldath is still with you. That means even after all this time, he didn't have any feelings of revenge or hatred.
no, we were defending ourselves against him, and they, I believe it was Savage took him out. Was that correct?
Took his leg off.
And I think
Savage definitely did a lot of violence, yeah.
And that is why
I think
you
Savage also lost his eye to it.
this is the one that died, yes?
Yeah. Oh, let me introduce you to these. This here's Hawks Hagnar.
Hello, Hawks.
How's it going?
Nice
This
to
is
meet you.
Skanuk, Ratbiter. And then this one over here is oh gosh.
It's okay. Everyone forgets my name eventually.
Well, I don't know your name, but I definitely know your smell. It was all over this place when I got here. I thought something
What is
smelled
your
familiar.
character?
My name's Scales, and yeah, I'm not surprised. I squatted here for a good while.
Was it comfortable? Did you have fun?
Comfortable? Fun? If you mean scouring the land for food and hiding from that blasted dragon for days and weeks and months. If you call that fun,
That sounds like a grand old time, yay.
it was a blast.
Ah, glad you had fun then. She kind of ruffles your head. If you do remember, little Raven, though, it was me that helped bring you back, although through Eldath's power. True.
Right, that's what I meant. You with Eldath's power.
So she is powerful. Lillian kind of murmurs to herself and takes a couple more notes. I have power, but I use it for my own protection and to protect those who need it the most. Something a wizard might not understand. You guys kind of like a moment where they kind of stare at each other.
Now, let's not get into any.
Oh, please, little Raven. You know I follow Eldath. There won't be any hands raised in this house, though the words may be as sharp as blades.
I wasn't talking to you necessarily.
Ah, well. Of course. Typical that the wizard would be the first to cast a harmful spell, would it not be?
Well, let's not cast blame when you don't know the person. Just because she's a wizard doesn't mean she's gonna
I don't know their
be.
name personally, no, but I know of what their company does. So you do know me. I don't know of you, but I know that you converse with murderers. Oh, please, that red wizard got what was coming to him. He did not understand subtlety, and he did not understand teamwork, for one. Nor did really any of my group.
And can I just butt in here for a second?
Sure, you may. There's kind of like that anime like lightning between the eyes moment going on right now between the two.
I understand that you might have very big differences in your outlooks on the world, but the fact of the matter is that we're getting help from both of you on this, on solving a big problem that affects a lot of people. So even if, Rannoch, even if there's some selfish things happening in the background here, we kind of need some of the leads that she's pointed us towards.
Leads.
I mean, she's the person who helped us get to the towns in time to actually stop that thing, the Chartling dragon. We couldn't have done that without her. So, you know,
She kind of looks ashamed for a second.
just give her a little more credit.
Yes, give me a little bit more credit, Rhiannoch.
That's not the kind of thing you say to actually get more credit. That's the thing you say to convince someone not to give you more credit.
I'm sorry, then. Miss Velin. Velin Harpel. Right then, Miss Velin. I'll call you Harpy. No, you most certainly will not. Of course not, Miss Harpy. Or Mrs. Is it Mrs. Harpy?
Okay. So I think some of the things that I just said.
I'm just having a little bit of fun.
Anyone.
I'm just having a little bit of fun, Mr. Hawks. Don't mind me. I understand perfectly. Though I may have some reservations, I recognize what you've done, but what did you mean when he said that you had leads? Well, yes, so in my research, you might not know this, but I've come to understand that I don't know if you know this, but under the Ragged Glacier, we have come to understand that there is the ruins of a long-lost nethery city. And in that city, my research and the research of the Arcane Brotherhood has come to understand that there is some sort of method, some sort of great power in that city that the Arcane Brotherhood would be very interested in having, but I'm sure that doesn't interest you. What would interest you, Mrs. Rhiannoch, is that in that city there is most assuredly a way to stop the Frost Maiden. At that, Rhiannoch will sort of sit back.
See? Leads.
I see. But then that means... Oh, little Raven. You're not going to go out into the sea, are ya?
We've made a plan.
I see.
Get the sea going.
Well, you've certainly made friends with Angajuk. He'd be more than willing to take you. But... I'm sure I don't need to tell you that going to that place where the Frost Maiden dwells, if you're not prepared, it might be a death sentence for you again. And I don't know if I can bring you back a second time.
We were hoping that we could maybe time it so that we show up there at night and get out before daylight, or as much as that happens nowadays.
That you might be able to do. She kind of stands up. At this point, the stew is now fully cooked, and she hands out bowls for everyone. All made of wood, of course.
Yeah, the Frost Maiden's been taken to the air at night, surveying the land on the back of a giant void. And we think that while she's out, we might be able to get some work done.
Well, you'll certainly have your work cut out for you then. I know of the island of which you speak. A constantly moving iceberg, floating in the sea, never in the same place twice. I tried to go there at one point. I thought maybe I could sneak in on my own and maybe find out more of what anyone could do, but that rock, the one that she rides upon at night, I've seen it. I almost didn't make it out of that place with my life. There's an ever-present fog throughout that island. What's more, there's a sheer cold that's unlike what's happening in the Dale. Even your gear might not be up to snuff. But if you plan to do it at night, that is your best shot. I just hope that Eldath will be with you. As it almost wasn't with me when I fled.
Eldath's shown a surprising amount of being with us this whole time. I'm starting to become a little bit of a believer myself, honestly.
Are you really?
Oh, good.
I mean, obviously, I've taken up a somewhat violent profession of whacking stuff with an axe. But
That's true.
if I can whack stuff with an axe to keep it from stirring up trouble later, then I'm spreading the seeds of peace, right?
That's a way of looking at it.
That certainly is. You wouldn't be able to be a direct priest of Eldath, as we swear oaths of pacifism, but we won't say no to any help from anyone who wants to help.
Well, I do know that there are some Eldath priests who have done some acts of violence for the sake of self-defense and defending others, but that's a less stringent way of doing it. I've always just thought it made more sense to go all the way if you're going to go part way.
Well, I'm not looking to become a priest, but
In your case, yeah.
And
You can
yours?
be a follower without being a priest, it's true.
That is true. And, young Meepo, you've certainly been spreading the word. If it were not for the damn cold, there'd be a full harvest this year. You can tell from her proverb she is talking about followers and belief.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking, what if after this is all over, we start up a new festival for Eldath?
You don't say.
I had some ideas, and I'll tell you about them later, but I thought it was something worthwhile. Kind of an ambition of mine.
Well, we'll certainly have to discuss that, won't we? Although, I must admit, and she kind of like takes a look out the door, and you see Muerte just inches from the door, just leaning in. I'm curious about that. And she just points at Muerte. What is that?
That is a creature that does not believe in peace.
It is. It's a hard case.
Yeah, think of like the opposite of peace incarnate.
I see. This poor creature. Oh. Hang on. And she kind of you see her eyes kind of close for a second. And you kind of smell a faint whiff of dandelions and sunflowers as the air kind of picks up around her. And she starts to talk to Muerte. And Muerte, of course, kind of sits back a little bit and just goes, just starts doing the Banjo Kazooie, like, and Scales, you listen as well. And they have there's a brief conversation between Muerte as well as Rionok. And Rionok, for the most part, seems very taken aback by the crass and angry nature of Muerte. And this is clearly an individual who spends time with animals a lot. She is taken far aback by Muerte's entire personality and demeanor.
He's a force of nature.
If you were from where I was from, you'd be fucking dead. Anyway. Oh, yeah. This creature has known so much pain. From the source of this anger, it frightens me, Meepo. I've only seen one thing similar, and that was... Well, she kind of looks to the side, like the stag, that Ravison. Well... But you seem to have at least harnessed this creature's wrath for good? And she kind of gives like a very cringing face at that.
Well, he found a sort of a second soul in Savage, and Savage was on our side, so they kind of hit it off.
Yes, I learned as much from speaking with her. There is a great loss that this one feels. Perhaps if she had a better outlet through which to communicate it. She kind of thinks for a minute. One moment. You see as she kind of she kind of pushes past you. Excuse me, dear. And she kind of like ruffles through. Now, where did I put that spare agate? Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where did I put the darn thing? Bloody thing. Oh, here it is. She comes out from the back and she holds in her hand a very sizable agate gem that is pretty much fits in her fist. It looks incredibly expensive. I only keep these if I really need them. I don't usually do this willy-nilly, like certain other druids who shall not be named. But I can. Uh-oh, hold on, my internet's going weird again. Hold on, one second. Technical difficulties, one moment. And it's weird, too, because, like, if I look at, like, fast.com, my connection should be okay. Okay, I should be back again. Say something? Darn it. I have full green bars, and yet... Oh, man. Well, in either case, if you guys can still hear me, she will say that, well, I can give your friend the gift of awakening. They can talk, just like you and I, and be about as smart as the average person. Hold on. This is a nightmare. I don't know what's going on with my setup. I don't know what's this is infuriating. I don't know what's happening.
We'll take one of those breaks.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a bit. Why don't we take like a short break?
What were you saying, Skinak? Well, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a bit, like 5 minutes or so. Blah.
Oh. I see
I'm
what
going
you're saying.
to grab myself some cheese. He said he's going to be back in a minute, right?
Yeah.
Then it's cheese time.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
Oh, and you sound fine now. Good.
Interesting.
I swear, Steven's mentioned this before. It's like every different session, there's like some different weird technical issue. It's like there was the time when like the stream would like stop randomly. Didn't know what was up with that. And like sometimes like I couldn't hear some people. Like now, it's just a weird voice connection issue where everyone sounds robotic randomly during certain weird intervals. It's so strange. There's always some weird issue. And it's different. But it's fine now. For now. Is everyone else here?
I am here.
Steve.
I'm currently eating some good pasta.
Ooh.
I am here. I just finished moving a hot bowl of chili, and I was trying not to spill it, so I couldn't answer.
Fair enough. Michael, are you here?
Apparently not.
I
Yet.
guess not. I like as soon as I mentioned, like I didn't even have to like say the spell name. As soon as I mentioned, I don't even I think I said anything about the agate, but like the second like Rionok said she could do something to maybe help, like everyone was already like awaken, 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 awaken.
Yeah, we all knew it was coming.
It has to happen.
Once she pointed out Muerte, I was like, oh, she can awaken Muerte.
You didn't. I was going to next level.
Now you don't have to get that spell if you don't want it.
And I don't need to spend a lot of time finding the
An
material.
agate, right?
But yeah, Muerte as a sidekick could be the next step of the evolution. That would certainly fit pretty well. I don't have that stat block set up yet. I might do that next session, if that's the case. So right now we'll keep, if we do go through this, it'll probably just keep her stat block as it is now, and then turn her into a sidekick next session.
Well, we would keep the things she's already got, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the cure current, those two different abilities that she has, which
Yeah.
I believe was Relentless and I think Blood Frenzy was the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Michael. You are here. Excellent.
Yep, sorry about that. I had to run to the car and get something.
All good, all good. Okay, so that means we can go ahead and get back into it. So, back into it. Hold on, let me switch to live scene. There we go. So, what I can do is whip up a little spell that I've been cooking up. She'll talk like you and I. She'll think like you and I. Although, well, to be fair, she'll probably still be angry. But it won't change her personality. She'll just be able to communicate better.
Does she want that?
Well, I suppose I'd have to ask her. Muerte. And then Muerte kind of looks in his direction, and they'll communicate back and forth.
Her.
Let's see here. Muerte does not seem to fully understand the gift being offered. But she isn't for or against it, per se. I don't think she's truly comprehending what I'm offering her, but since you are currently, well, I don't really like using the word ownership, but since you are her companions, I'll leave that decision up to you. I don't All right, all right. You see, there's another bit of a back and forth. All right, for some reason, she's now completely into it. I don't. Why?
As that's Morte Blanca.
You see her feathers begin to floop up, and her Morte's head begins to bob up and down.
She's got like the spark of angry joy that comes right before a battle.
I'm already starting to regret this decision, but I'll go through with it. The problem is, though, it's going to take a long while.
Well, we can make sure things are safe out here while you're doing it.
Well, she kind of thinks to herself, it's long enough of a time that I think I can do it when riding... Actually, where is that? Where is Angujuk?
He went to get a squid.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was gonna get some food for us because you went to get some food and he thought he'd help.
oh, Angujuk. He's a bit slow, but... Oh, poor bugger. And as she kind of says that, you see him spring from the water. I have fulfilled my contribution. It is a bunch. He spills a bunch of fish from his mouth onto the ice. Well done, Angujuk. We'll have that for supper. Yay! I'm helping.
Skunk is already like picking through for like the good bits in his opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, whales don't really like chew on fish, so it's mostly just they're mostly intact. Save for having like whales' breath smell on them, which isn't it smells
They're fish.
awful.
They already smell like fish.
Right, but like it was inside his gullet,
Right.
so it smells worse.
It'll wash out. Pretty valuable, actually.
Well, with that, she will actually motion for you all to kind of like step up to Angujuk, and she will actually get up on top of the boat that is tied to Angujuk's back. Well, come on. It'll probably take us a while to get there, so I'll use some of the time that we take to get there to cast the spell.
I'll try to lead Muerte that way as well.
You don't really have to lead her too much, as she kind of takes the time to follow Rhinox and her strange offer. And the Yeti Tyke does follow, and so does Bean, and so does Belin. I will admit, this is absolutely fascinating. I've seen awakened creatures before, but the construction as like a vehicle, I have not seen that before. That is inspired, I will say. So Miss Harpy does have some compliments. I am trying to be nice. Please do not. I'm just messing with you. She gives Reyna gives Harpel a wink. So, you're going to love this. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but you'll see when we get underwater. And you see Reyna get strangely giddy.
Okay, I'll trust your word.
Come on. She kind of like starts like patting the rim. Come on, let's go. Come on. Olivia,
Off we go.
where's the scared one?
Oh, I'm coming.
Come on, you missed the fun.
You say that now.
Oh,
Where's Bean? We have Bean?
I'm here. And he crawls from under under Muerte's satchel.
Oh, good.
It's like a mix of both the safest and not safest place in the world.
Yeah, as long as you're behind the beak, it's alright.
Yeah, there's a different There's a degree of range that the beak can strike that I think I'm safely out of.
Mhm.
And the Yeti kind of crawls aboard, kind of like playing with some of the rope. All right, everyone, get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. As he begins to submerge, you see the water start to climb up the side, and you start to get a little bit concerned. And Valin does as well. But Rhiannoc, the whole time, is just smiling and just kind of like holding her hands together, like. And then you submerge, and you just as the seawater would swoop up around you and swallow you whole. It buffers against something, and you see a bubble form around the ship, separating you from the ocean. Ta-da!
Oh.
I know. It's impressive, right? Took me years to get it right, the enchantment and everything. But can't argue with the results.
As expected of a follower of the Mother of the Waters.
All right,
You did this
Angajuk.
yourself?
Aye? Well, I did, but, well, Angajuk really helped with gather some of the ingredients, and he was a good sport carrying it on his back, so he is about half the effort. All right, Angajuk. Show him what you're really made of. I will. Onward! And he starts to swim off. He swats his tail up, down, and he swats his fins, and he begins to rush forward at a breakneck speed. And you guys get a clear view of the ocean beneath the ice. Despite all the lifelessness from above the surface, under the ocean seem to be teeming with life. Schools of fish swim by you, and a little bit of coral kind of breaks out from the ground. Pale, but alive nonetheless. You even see a few sharks here or there kind of swimming around. And as Angajuk swims forward, you see a pod of dolphins begin to chitter and echo as they swim around you, keeping in tow, trying to keep along with Angajuk. Everyone hold on! As Angajuk begins to flip upside down. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! But strangely enough, you kind of seemingly float in the air as he does this acrobatic maneuver. And you kind of like hold on to like the ship's bow, some ropes on it that are kind of tied to the mast of the broken ship. And you are managed to kind of like hold yourself in the space where you are as he rotates around 360 degrees in a flip. And then as he returns to his original position, the dolphins follow suit and swim around his entire form, sometimes making loop-de-loops around himself. Is everyone all right? Never better, Villain says. Oh, I think we're going to be sick. The owl, her owl familiar, similarly gags.
Ooh, aim at the wall. I want to see what it does.
Huh. Hold on, roll a con save for her.
Good luck, us.
She does upchuck, and it hits the wall, and it bounces back at her. Oh, 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 oh! And she kind of goes to the back of the boat. Ooh, probably should have warned her about that. Oh well.
So that's how it works.
Oh, right. I need to keep up my end of the bargain. And she kind of starts going towards Murte.
Canuck, I think I could maybe help you with doing that for the walrus, at least temporarily. I do serve the Mother of the Waters.
Oh.
That's one of Eldath's names.
I can cast, let's see. Maybe I could figure
I'm
out
not
water
casting
breathing.
this, but
Water walk? No, that's not really good.
I got control water, and I can also create and destroy water.
Interesting. Well, if we can do that, and then maybe, if we could put water breathing on Morte, and maybe some sort of swimming effect? Hmm. Snuck is lost to boat planning.
Indeed. And as it's sort of happening, you all would notice that Muerte is currently sitting on the deck. Like her, kind of like where the legs are almost like an ostrich, where like the legs are kind of like puffed inward towards the torso, and the torso itself kind of lowers to the ground. And Rhiannoch will be holding her head, and they both seem to be in some sort of trance-like state. And all the while, Rhiannoch is holding that agate right to where the cranium is for Muerte. And they're just sort of sitting there for now. You don't know how long this will take, so it might be best to leave them alone for now.
I guess me and Skinnock will just be talking about how to make the walrus amphibious. Or submersible, actually. It's already amphibious.
Scales, as you're kind of like looking around, you'll see a stingray swimming next to where you are on the boat. And the Yeti tyke as well is kind of like hops up on like the railing and kind of like holds its arm out, just kind of like just batting at the bubble. And you can see the Yeti tyke's hand will kind of like bounce off the bubble and like back at the Yeti, like back in the Yeti's direction. So the Yeti will just kind of like bat. It's almost like a cat. The Yeti tyke is like bapping at the bubble, and just getting slightly annoyed that it can't reach out and touch the ray. And it kind of like squeaks at you in frustration, like I can't get it. I can't get it. Come here. I want to pet you or throttle you. Either or.
It might be for the best that you can't touch it. If you could, we all might die.
But I wanna.
I know, we can try to touch one later on when we're not all freezing to death.
Okay. Kind of grunts and like I said, starts like bopping its. It starts to kick. It of course brought its leather cloth ball with it, and it in its boredom it discovers a new trick. It kicks the leather ball so that it bounces off the bubble, and bounces off a different wall of the bubble. So then a light bulb goes off in the Lady Tyke's head. It tries to see how many consecutive bounces it can get the ball to do.
It's inventing soccer. Soccer was invented by Yetis. Or football for you European listeners.
Okay.
Actually, anybody who's not American.
It lines up the kick in such a way that it gets it to bounce 6 times off the wall. So a very impressive feat. And it starts like jumping up and down, almost like a monkey, and just like just starts jumping up in happiness. You see?
Hey, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit the scary lady with it, and he kind of drags the grabs the ball and like heads back to the back of the boat.
No.
Okay.
Start chasing him around. Like, he's got the ball running around. I'm chasing hands out to start like, give me that ball.
No, and you're just like start Scooby Doo running around like the boat, just like trying to chase each other. Hawks, what are you doing in the meantime?
Watching the wildlife mostly. I don't think there was anything I needed to like particularly prepare in the meantime. So yeah, I think for the most part, Hawks is going to be just watching the wildlife, taking it easy,
Okay.
maybe honing his axe.
All right. You start kind of sharpening the blade with whetstone, trying to get the sharpness just right. You do occasionally glance up at the ocean water, and a school of fish kind of breaks over your line of sight. And then as it passes by, I want you to make a perception check.
I have advantage on perception checks from something. For insight.
Was it from one of your rooms? Or was it the...
I have to double check because I have advantage on a bunch of stuff, and I don't always remember what it is. It's not
You
the
just
same
need
as
like
me.
a note somewhere
It's not
that
advantage.
has.
That should have just been the 10.
Okay. 10, you will see, as the school passes over, you'll see the shape of a structure of some kind. You can't quite make out the details of it, but it seems to be a ruin of some kind, although it's only more of a shape, like a shadowy shape because of the distance and like the cloudiness of the water. But you do see something out there.
Well, I think we know that there's a lot of lost civilization here between the frost giants and whatever else, you know? Not really surprising.
Indeed. And you will, as you kind of swim past it, or rather, sorry, Angujuk swims a bit more forward, and eventually it will go out of sight. Like a passing landmark through the ocean floor.
Can we talk to the whale while we're in here?
Yes, I am still communicable!
I thought he was holding his breath, but maybe not.
I'm still technically holding my breath, but I can talk.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not gonna
pretty
question.
impressive.
It's the magic of the bubble!
Raise the bubble.
Don't question it, it's magic!
Don't move the curtain, otherwise you'll see the wizard's actually an artificer.
Blast! I've been figured out! just flies away on a gyrocopter. Fold again!
He flies away on a hot air balloon, don't you know?
Well, my artificer would do a gyrocopter because gyrocopters are cool. Anyway,
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the Wizard of Oz, though.
I know. I'm just never mind. Anyway, distraction.
Sorry.
No. It's all good. In any case, you can still speak to Angujuk.
I was just wondering if you knew what that ruin was that Hawk's talking about.
I see them from time to time. Giants make some of these ruins are. Lost to the ages long ago. A fallen empire of Astoria. Once home of the giants.
Well, there you go, Hawks.
Sort of what I expected to hear, honestly. It's
Kind of why I was wondering.
I do have to wonder what could be left in there, but now doesn't seem to be the time.
Very well. Onward! He just continues to swim.
Maybe the return trip.
if there is a return trip.
Don't say things like that. Stay positive.
I like your attitude.
I'm positive that we're not guaranteed a return trip.
You're really killing my vibe. But please, do not be sad, small one. You have Rhiannoc on your side. If Rhiannoc is on your side, surely you will succeed. And do not underestimate your own power. Angajuk has faith in you! I'll take that silence as affirmation! And he will just keep going. So, you guys spend a full day of this whole travel. All this time, he is swimming the entire time, and it doesn't seem...
Hey, you forgot to roll for blizzards.
Underwater blizzard. Real blizzard. Real blizzard.
No,
Not a
is there
lot,
a blizzard going
honestly.
up above water? Is the
Not
question.
at the moment, no. You can't even really see it, anyway. You know what? Here, I'm gonna make a secret roll. And only if
And
you
we
go
will
above the
not-
water. Only if you go above the water will I tell you if there's a blizzard or not. Hang on.
Okay, let's not go above water.
Hang on. No. Where's my D4? Where's my D4? Come on. Where's my D4? Come on. There it is. First, I have to roll. There aren't gonna be really here. Okay. Alright, I've made my rolls. So, you don't really have like there's some bedrolls that you kind of took with you because obviously there really isn't like a great place to sleep on the boat. So you guys kind of sleep on the kind of like the moist wooden floor of the boat for the night. And for the most part, it's decent enough sleep, although it's a little bit bumpy, and some of you might be a little bit seasick from like the emotions that he's swimming. But you do manage to get to sleep either way. However, during that time, you fall asleep before you notice what happened with Muerte. As both Muerte and Rhiannoc seem to fall asleep at the exact same time once they finished what they were doing. When you wake up, you see Muerte at the back of the boat, staring off into the distance. Watch occasionally her head snapping when the occasional fish or ray swims by. So, you are awake. You hear a new voice come out of Muerte's beak.
That is not what I expected you to sound like.
It is not what I expected to sound like either. And yet here we are. But it does not matter what I sound like. All that matters is that you know who I am. And you know who I am. I am Muerte. Muerte Blanca. As long as that does not change, we will be fine.
I kill, therefore I am Muerte Blanca.
Muerte Blanca, Muerte. Muerte Blanca. I don't know how I will get used to this gift. But you all have done a lot for me. I recognize this. Therefore, I will not kill you.
Well, that's probably about as good as we could have hoped.
You are perhaps the least irritating creatures I have had the displeasure of dealing with. What? It is a compliment.
Working on it. I'm thinking about it. I guess it is.
Good. When is the next battle?
Well, there's gonna be some sneaking. And then, if there is a battle, we're gonna need it to be fast and quiet. So we'll be counting on you.
I do not want to sneak. I want to fight.
Right. You remember that, big bird that flies through the sky
Oh,
every
yes.
once in a while?
Oh, yes. The memories I
Eventually-
had before have not left me. I remember the bird very well, and I wish to see its blood beneath my talons as I rip its heart out with my beak.
That might happen. But not now.
Damn it.
Think of it this way. If we're sneaky, then if fighting does happen, you can get yourself into the best position to be in the middle of it by sneaking into that position.
Make a persuasion check. Also, very good point, Scales. Does that make you Muerte's minions?
Because now that Muerte has the intelligence of 10, I think that actually beats out.
Beats out what?
Intelligence. My intelligence.
Oh, no, never mind. My intelligence is equal to Muerte's. He is the superior creature in that regard.
I mean, really, it's the most effective stabbings have always been when no one's expecting it.
Muerte will just look at you, Hogs. And there's a bit more intelligence to the look this time, as the kind of like the reddish orange eyes just kind of stare in your direction, look you up and down, squint. We shall see. And then look away. Right, I am not sure about. I am regretting so many things right now. Rionak is like slowly waking up. Oh. Maple, Maple, honey, we need to have a talk.
I know. I've been trying to work on this since we met it. The main reason we brought Muerte along was, well, we needed a way to move the sled, and Muerte was being held by some people, and we thought it might be better if it was further away from people, and we could keep an eye on Muerte. And Muerte was also somewhat of a powerful ally in terms of battles, and seeing as how I can't really do much combat, it was kind of nice having someone who was more than willing to take that role for me. So it's kind of been a balancing act. I know. We're working on it.
You have your work cut out for you. Oof, oof.
Let's just say, if I can do this, I expect I might be sainted.
You're already a saint to me, Maple. Oh, she just kind of pats you on your shoulder. You certainly have the patience for it. And she just kind of goes over to the bowsprit of the ship. It seems that, for the most part, this day also goes without much issue. Although you do see at this point several more of those giant ruins that are kind of dotting around underwater. You see ginormous statues that are just broken in several pieces that hold the visage of storm giants, stone giants, frost giants, all different kinds, various shapes and sizes. You see what appears to be a great bridge that is caught between two different underwater peaks that has perhaps a long time ago collapsed inward into that position. There are bits and pieces of this lost, forgotten empire strewn about these ancient frozen waters, forgotten to time.
So much loot. So much potential loot.
But another day goes, and you have not yet reached your destination.
So, I would, sometime during that day, disguise myself as a Kenku.
You'll see Renat kind of look over, she gives like a very sad smile and gives a nod at you.
I thought it'd be kind of nice to kind of walk around in my old skin for a while since everybody knows now. It's kind of weird, actually.
Ah, I bet. I imagine you've gotten used to the new skin by now. You must be feel pretty strange looking at your old one.
You make yourself look like a green Kenku. The bird thing I can understand, but I can't see it as anything but green.
I mean, if you look at me in the right light, the feathers kind of sheen green sometimes.
Especially underwater, the light does a lot of different things, in the spectrum, If you squint your eyes real hard, I think you can see it.
Canuck's just noticing.
Skunuk is like the embodiment of like, that's nice, honey.
Glad you noticed, Canuck.
Science is being done.
All right. It is now the third day. And you will see that at this point, there have been some times where Angajik has like slowed down and taken some sleep himself. But he seems to be able to go for pretty extended periods of time. But it's during one of these slower periods that he will begin to surface a little bit. Now, of course, as is his nature as a air-breathing animal, he will breach the surface occasionally to get some of the air back, which is also part of his his deal. But at this point, this is one of those times where he will take a breath of air, and the bubble will pop for a minute, and you will notice that the air is extremely cold. Like, it's bad enough that you're being kind of like beaten by the sea air that is also in its own way like extremely strong and cold. But not only that, it's almost as if your very breath is freezing in the air. And then I would like you all to make perception checks.
I've previously established is not a thing that I get advantage of.
Emboldening Bond will go on Canuck, Hawks, and Scales.
Alright, so this map is quite big, so I'm gonna need you to scroll down to your bottom right around near that area.
Bottom right. Oh. I don't know. This is a very large map.
It is.
I love that Morte is our party token.
Morte is your party token. I'm glad that you noticed that.
Yeah, that works out. That checks out.
But, of course, as you are now surfaced, you see, and rather hear, the crackling of icebergs smashing against each other in the area. And Angujuk actually has to swerve out of the way from hitting one head on because the fog is extremely thick. You actually can't see out more than 200 feet. And then you see something as Angujuk makes his way towards what appears to be land of some kind. The fog through which you've been traveling now thins enough for you to just see 50-foot-high cliffs of solid ice ahead of you. Jutting out of the water off the coast are the bare, weather-beaten masts of sunken ships. And ahead of them, you can make out what appears to be a partially shattered dock carved out of ice. And as you get closer, what becomes very apparent to you, Hawks, especially, it's very obvious that this dock was made for giants. As this massive dock can only really hold one of the massive giant skiffs from long ago, with its sheer size.
Real bit of history here. It's a shame what hands it's in. Maybe we should do something about that.
And as Angujuk makes his way, he lifts up out of the water just enough for you to be able to step out onto the cracked ice docks. You watch as well as Villain just kind of just steps off and just goes on all fours. Oh, beautiful land. I will never forsake you again. And the owl does a similar motion with its wings and its talons.
Come on, that wasn't that bad.
She gives you a look. Right, it wasn't that bad, Miss Harpy. Please, I'm not in the mood. All right. Now, I don't know how much I can help you lot. Like Meepo, I've taken a vow of pacifism. I'm not much help for fighting, but I'll stick here around here with Angujuk to make sure that if the rock comes around, I can protect him. But if you need healing, come back to the docks. I'll see what I can do for you.
It's like a plan to me.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So,
Sorry, I was kicked out. My internet dropped for a second.
beans. So, if you missed it, Renok said that she took a vow of pacifism like you did, so she isn't good enough to fight. But what she can do is she's going to stay here with Angujuk to make sure that if the rock comes by, that she can protect Angujuk. But if you guys come back to this dock, she will be here if you guys need healing.
Okay. Was the wizard under the effect of like the poisoned condition for this purposes of...
No, she's okay. She's just finally relieved to be off
Right.
off that boat.
Okay. Then I'm not gonna bother about it.
Yeah, and of course at this point as well, it is. You've been underwater. Roll a survival check for me, everyone.
And you three have emboldening bond.
And once
Really
again, I have
emote.
to double track what checks I get. Okay, survival is not one of them.
You need
Okay.
like a list.
You do need a list.
Yeah, I
You should
really-
write,
I
you should
really
write
do.
down.
Okay, well. 22.
Okay. So with your checks, it's hard to see like what time of day it is because you've been underwater for 3 days. But you kind of look at the surroundings. The fog is so thick it's hard to tell, but you think about it, kind of measure out how many days it's been, like how many hours you've slept. You figure it must be around close to either is evening or is about to be evening.
So, do we know if the bird has departed the island yet?
You do not. Especially because of the thick fog surrounding the island. But it's either it's not time yet, it's close to the time you imagine.
Is the sky visible from where we are?
It is not. The fog is so thick you cannot see the sky.
That's good for now, because that means it can't see us. Presumably.
Now, as far as you're concerned, let's see here. You can see as far out to 200 feet from you, and that's as far as you can see.
So, what are our objectives here, and how long do we have to do it?
Oh, we're looking for that orb of. Oh god, I forgot the name. There's like that
Professor-
orb that can.
Professor
Yeah, the
orb?
professor's orb. That's one thing. That some prick named Nas probably has. And I guess anything useful?
Yes. We need to find either the remains of or Nas Lantimir herself and retrieve my orb from that blasted thief. That is the first order of business.
Hey. Is there anywhere else that a ship might have tried to come ashore here? Or did this person come with you on a ship?
Are you asking that to Angajuk or?
Because we think she was heading here, right?
To the best of your knowledge, it seems that way.
Could they have used magic?
No. To my knowledge, she took a ship. Something. The ship called the Something Eddy. I forget what it was called. But she did chart a ship, I know that.
Well, we could maybe look around, see if there's any ships that are still intact, or even any that are named the Something Eddy. I'd say it's a bit weird, but we named our ship the Walrus, so we don't really have much room to point fingers.
Well, it has tusks. And it can go in the water and on this land.
True enough. Although I'm. As you can quite tell, I think I'm a bit adverse to sea life. No offense. None taken!
We ought to get going if we've got just a little bit of time.
Right, we should. Yes, you're right. Alright, let me guide. She kind of slaps herself. Get it together, Venom. Alright, let's get down to business then. And she will kind of strut towards the edge of the docks. Which you will now see. You can get as you're getting a better look of the dock, it's clear that what seems to be frost giants fashioned this dock out of ice. And it seems like this dock was at least built to last. Because the actual architecture of it is structurally very sound. Although, clearly because of age, sections of it have broken away. What you do notice as you reach the end of the dock, or they're closer to land, you can tell that it was scaled for frost giant feet, because now you're starting to see big old giant-sized steps.
Oh, these will be fun to climb.
Oh man.
Just pulls out his crowbar, so he used to hook over the step and heave himself up.
Yeah, it's like it's not enough you need to make athletics checks to climb it, but it's still like, you have to pull yourself up on it, like, you do like a little like half climb where you hoist yourself up by your torso and then you heave your legs up. You have to do that over and over again for step after step after step. It's a little exhausting, but you do manage to do it. You will notice something though. At the very top, after about an hour of climbing these steps, they're long enough and tall enough that it's quite a journey. But just as you're panting, you're heaving, you're just wanting this to be over, you see a tiny little form on top of the topmost step that is peering down at you. It looks at first form like almost gargoyle-like, with a very long, jagged, pointed nose. It appears to be made out of ice, but moves as fluidly as a creature. And this creature kind of flaps its icy wings and stares down at you, and begins to speak. So, do any of you know Aquin or Orin?
That's a no for me.
Okay, so no.
Tell me that I got your comic.
Okay. As you all try and communicate with this creature, it tilts its head and doesn't seem to understand you, and he kind of folds his arms and scratches his chin. Let me look at...
always the spell that I wish I had prepared that I didn't.
Hey,
Hold on.
Skill.
I was like, we won't be running into anything that we need to talk to on this island. We'll be trying to avoid running into things. Oh no, immediately runs into something we need to talk to.
So, you can understand me. The issue here is that I can't understand you. So could you just let us squeeze by?
Tell him to write what he wants to say in the snow.
Hold on. I have something for this. The villain kind of steps forward. Thankfully, I have this spell prepared today, and she will cast Comprehend Languages. Alright, then. Alright, you there. State your name. Okay, wait, hold on. Can you guys hear me? Oh, it's happening again! Ugh! Hang on, let me restart Discord. So infuriating. I don't know why this is happening, but it is so irritating. Alright, let's go back in. Come on, connect, come on. No route? What do you mean, no route? No route, what absolute bubkiss. Ah! It's not Discord that's the problem, because I can see the red bar from voice connected is it's red now. It's not. It should be 3 bars in green, not 1 bar in red. And you guys can hear me, but you guys are robotic. It has to be on my end. Now it's green again, but now you guys are still robotic. Ugh. This is so ridiculous. It's so... I just need to give it a couple minutes, and then it'll It'll sort itself out, but it's still irritating.
We sound like you sound fine, Evan.
Yeah.
We sound so awful on Twitch.
Oh, you popped into the stream to check. Okay, so now you see what I'm seeing then, or hearing then. You hear what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, you guys are fine now. You guys are fine now.
Okay.
Okay, it's just so weird. It's so weird. Okay, it's fine. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. Good to go. So,
Make sure you leave reviews on the when it wants you to disconnect and like.
oh yeah. Wait,
Wait,
hold on.
no,
I think
that's on streams.
no. I think that's only for like one-on-one calls or like not
Yeah,
voice
not
channels.
group chats. Yeah.
Either
Well,
way,
you might be able to send something to Discord somewhere.
yeah. Either way, let's get back into it.
Right.
Okay. So all right. So this individual, his name is Sopo, and interesting. He wants us to follow him. He wants to be our guide to the island. Huh. Interesting enough. Yeah. You watch as Velin is communicating with this ice method named Sopo. You see Velin's familiar, the owl. It starts poofing up its feathers when staring at the creature. And the method seems to stare back at it with an equal intensity. Alright. Alright, you sense no ill intent from the creature, Meepo, as you can tell.
Can you ask it why it wants to be our guide?
As far as I can tell, it's just bored. Oh, it's interesting though. It says it is claiming a couple things. It says that there are shipwrecks that surround the island are full of treasure waiting to be claimed. Well, one of them might be the ship that Nass was in. The last ship to visit the island. Oh no! Oh wait, no. This is good. Yes, no. Continue talking. Yes, friend. Yes. That one. Yes, good. She seems to be writing something down feverishly. Yes. Okay, so, apparently, the last ship to visit the island crashed off the coast of the island's northwest arm. How far away is that? The creature thinks for a second. That's how far away? Oh dear.
Do we need to get back on the whale?
We might just... well, the problem is... hold on, let me ask him. More communication. The problem is, where we just entered is one of the only places that can get up onto land. All the rest of the island are surrounded by 50-foot cliffs. We'd have to make it on foot. That's annoying. It's very irritating, but I won't shoot the messenger. But it's around a mile away.
We can do a mile.
Yes, it shouldn't be too difficult. Wait, what was that you said? No, go back. But go back. Interesting. So she did survive. Oh, no. Wait, no. Wait, she died before getting any farther? Oh, well, never mind then. Well, it looks like we're looting her corpse. Fun.
Well, that's easier.
At least we don't have to fight her. But that is sad that she died.
Ha, right. Sad. She kind of looks back to her notes. Well, thank you for your being so very helpful. I suppose I don't mind this creature being a guide of sorts. The rest of you mind?
I'd like to insight the creature.
Go right ahead.
I don't see any
Yes.
problem with it.
It wants to, so it's like some sort of like ice elemental thingy.
Yeah, go ahead. I mentioned its name before. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
Oh, you said it was a. Is it like a method?
A method of some kind. Okay, so you've heard of creatures like this before. These are not especially uncommon, especially in the Dale, especially places with intense concentration of their element. This is in fact an elemental of ice, and you have heard of them before as being called mephits, little mischievous creatures that are not they're not quite good in that sense, but they're not they're mostly pranksters and tricksters.
Well, watch your step.
And as for an insight, well, he seems to be at least somewhat genuine in showing you around, but you're not quite sure of the intent of that.
He's gonna try and lead us into some bullshit, isn't he?
Oh, I doubt that. You're not going to lead us into some bullshit, are you? Shakes head. See? There you go.
Can I at least insight that?
Yes, you may. Considering comprehend languages and this is basically, even though I'm talking through Velen, Scales is helping a lot through the translation as well.
Mm-hmm. Didn't change my insight.
Didn't change your insight, no. Hard to read.
I guess we'll just watch our step.
He's inscrutable, like a sphinx.
It's more like a block of ice.
Inscrutable as an ice cube. Okay.
Oh, we continue, I guess. I'm going to cast a spell on myself, though, I think. This will last for the day.
Death Ward. Prescient.
Oh my god.
On myself. 35 hit points is not much of a buffer.
It's not, but every little bit helps, especially when you're a meepo.
Mm-hmm.
So, you make your way northwest. And yes, I am using Muerte as the party marker.
Huh?
So, of course, you make your way towards the north end of the island. Start slowly parading your way. Let me just double check some stuff here. Indeed, okay. And it seems for the most part that there is, in fact, a pathway. Some sort of long forgotten road that is, despite probably being snowed over several times, you still see the path marked out through the footsteps of giants. As you make your way, let me do a little polygon reveal here. But as you kind of make your way down this direction, it's at this point that the fog thins just enough for you to be able to see the center of the island. And you see, upon the island's peak, this grand fortress.
Oh. Well, shit.
Massive, giant steps lead to a fortress made almost entirely of ice and stone. Rising before you on that peak is a 600-foot tall mountain of the ice. You see, at the top, a skull made from the ice, and a crown of horns surrounding the top, almost like battlements. And on the very top, in a blinding brilliance of light, the aurora, the source of the aurora, gleaming brightly and streaming across a night sky. It seems you are here at the right time.
Good.
Is this This structure, obviously the path leading to it has been scaled for giants, but does this structure also look like it's giant make?
It does. It does. You can tell from this, even though it's at a good distance away, like 1,000 or so feet away. Because it's made for giants. It's made to be noticed. And you can clearly tell from the steps, even though they're far away, they're clearly made for giants. And this definitely seems of giant make. Absolutely.
Hey, oh, that's fun.
Indeed. And as you kind of like make your way down this path, you follow the path laid for by the giants until you eventually reach an interesting location. Now, give me just a moment. So as you are wandering around, Sopo, as he is called, he does, true to his word, point out to you various different things as you're going along the path. Occasionally, he points to you towards different patches of ice that you might slip on. He kind of guides you away from them. And occasionally, he as well looks at low-hanging branches of frozen trees that he kind of steers you to duck under occasionally. But the entire time, Velin's owl is just staring daggers at this little Mephit, just like, don't you fucking dare. He's just like eyeing it like a mouse, essentially, like waiting for a chance. Even though as a familiar, it can't. But it wishes it could. But you do see something up ahead. Through the blowing snow, you see a grand assembly of ice sculptures across a snowy field at the foot of the mountain. As you get closer and you are able to examine them now, the sculptures are completely faithful to their subjects. You see carved sculptures of bears, elk, saber-toothed tigers, wolves, even yetis. One appears to be a giant centipede-like insect creature with great terrible fangs and massive size, and one even appears to look like a white dragon, the shape unmistakably similar to that of our Veage race, but of a smaller size. Probably no bigger than a cow. And the craftsmanship is simply out of this world. As you're looking at them, no mortal hand could create such wonderful works as these. And if they did, well, they must surely be a master.
First off, do I think that a giant could have created these?
No, you don't think so. Some of the works that are smaller, with the giant's hands, you don't think a giant would have the dexterity or nimbleness to create such works. These are more fine, and the finer and small details seem beyond a giant.
Do you think somebody turned, like,
Are
isofied
they-
some
Yeah.
living creatures?
That's kind of what I was worried.
Because if so, then maybe we should go fast. Stay warm. It's colder here than it was anywhere else I've ever been.
Let's go ahead and kind of maybe go around a bit.
I'm okay with going around.
Yeah. Like, do we get the impression that these are like people that have been sort of pseudo petrified, or do we
Make an investigation check for me. Anyone who wants to.
Do we have
Like,
to get
is
up
there-
close?
You can get up close. You can do so without touching them.
Oh,
like 2 months?
I don't really want to get up that close.
Oh!
Boom!
I'm gonna roll just because, but
Okay. These are not any sort of petrified creatures that you can tell. These are purely made out of ice. Just pure ice.
Well, someone's a hobbyist, I guess.
Maybe the Frost Maiden did it.
Was the Frost Maiden ever not, like, a complete douchebag?
I think there was a time before.
Because it really seems like a shame that if she did make these, it seems like a shame that she went from this to, you know, what she's doing right now.
Do we know why she's doing it? Has she said that? Any clerics have heard say that?
Who can really claim to know what a god is thinking? Villain kind of scoffs a little bit.
No, she's just pretty much been a shit since the dawn of time.
Although it is strange why none of the other gods have stopped her intervention. I will admit, this whole situation has been strange for the past couple of years, as much as people have researched it.
This is so perfect as well. Oh god.
I'm... What do I know?
As far as the history of Oril, goddess of winter, is concerned, Oril has never really been a good god. Well, in terms of like being, in terms of the morality scale.
Right.
Oril is known as cruel as winter itself. And as far as the natural 20 is concerned, I might give you a little bit extra. Give me a moment. You deserve a little bit extra with that.
Who can claim to know what a god is thinking? Meepo rolls a natural 20.
Me.
Am I?
Let's see here.
Some people are just unneighborly.
So as far as you know, there are many different depictions of Arl as well. You have heard of the Cold Crone as well. Like you've that name has come to you before as one, and you have seen the form that Orl has taken is one of these forms. But you've also heard of the Brittle Maiden as well, a form that is like more similar to a human woman with bluish skin and body made of ice and snow. You know that Orl is the embodiment of winter's wrath. Legends tell of her arrogance, capriciousness, and unpredictability. Her followers, learning from her, take great pleasure in torturing her enemies and harassing her foes, which, given the circumstances of this module, is very apt. Would you not agree? Look,
You know-
stares in Blizzard.
The thing is, that's not unpredictable anymore.
It's not.
It's just how it be.
It's not.
We just accept it as our Blizzard tax.
Yeah. One for the Blizzard text. Sacrifices and worship to her, very commonly done out of fear. You, of course, know that she is an evil goddess, and her main goal is to cover the realms under ice and snow. Yeah, that's about as much as you know for now. Although I will say with the Nat 20 as well, in terms of where gods are concerned in the Forgotten Realms, very rarely does a god take direct intervention and personal interest in wandering the world. Not since the Spell Plague has this happened. The fact that she is wandering around with an avatar that does strike you as odd.
Do I know any reason why the gods wouldn't have directly intervened at this point?
That's what's weird. By all accounts, they should have. But they haven't. Which something is wrong. Something is strange about all of this. There must be something else going on. But what that could be is anyone's guess. You do know, I will say, you do know that Oral has enemies. That much you know. You know that there are other evil gods and goddesses of the Forgotten Realms that at one point were frenemies, I suppose. But they have a very toxic relationship. There is Talos, god of storms and lightning. Umberlee, sometimes known as the Bitch Queen, goddess of sea and waves. There's also Malar, god of beasts and werewolves. These entities, sometimes known as the Troubles, are come at odds with each other. Umberlee and Oral in particular. Mostly because of the fact that Oral's domain is winter, she tends to freeze water, and sometimes she freezes the oceans, which is Umberlee's domain. Which, of course, as you can imagine, might upset her. And that is as much as you know with a nat 20.
Glances back over my shoulder at the water.
Another wave crashes against the cliffs. But as you're all kind of like thinking about this as you are moving along. As you walk around, not wanting to stir up anything hostile. At this point, you do go a bit off-road. I will say at this point I'll reveal a bit more. I will say at this point, though, I will need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw as the wind begins to pick up and everything gets a little bit colder.
I'm going to cast Bless.
Do I have resistance to cold? No, I have resistance to fire.
Anyone who is resistant or immune to cold, you do not need to make this save. I think you're resistant to fire, oddly enough, Mike, not ice. From the ice.
Yeah.
Rune.
You know, sometimes... Well, you know, when they made the ice rune, they assumed you were already resistant to cold, so...
I guess they don't want to double up. You know, I guess that's like part of the reason.
But, yes. Con save.
Make sure you add your d4 as well.
Did your shoes not give you?
No, they give me resistance to fire.
Oh, okay.
Because again, I think they were meant for someone who would already have been resistant to ice. Or cold. So yes, 15 total.
Alright, scales as well, unless you're resistant to ice. Con saving throw. Oh, laptop died. Gotcha. Oops.
Oh.
Ooh, yep. Okay. You all managed to... Oh, wait, hold on. I have to actually roll for villain. Okay. All of you managed to walk through just fine. And of course, being as the axe beak is adapted to this cold climate, does not need to, Muerte does not need to make a save because she is Muerte Blanca.
She's a winter beak.
She's a winter beak. But you will see another set of icy statues. These ones appear to resemble more human shapes, although still apparently made of ice, the best you can tell from a glance. These ones seem to mirror different people from 10 towns, it looks like. One you see that resembles the speaker of Tourmaline, Speaker Matthew. One appears to be Nimsy Huddle. One appears to resemble you all.
Each of us?
Each of you, yes.
Is Savage there?
Savage is not there. He's the only one missing. Oh, of course, and Villain is not there either. Huerte is, though.
implies that these are more recent.
They do look more recent compared to the others. But, of course, seeing as how you avoided the other ones, Sopo leads you around these ones as well. Without too much of an issue.
I don't know. Seeing myself in statue makes me want to investigate it a little bit.
Okay. How do you wish to investigate it?
Are you
Well, I would
standing
like
next
to look
to it?
over the craftsmanship. The gear he has on, is it like recent gear, or is it stuff that was I had earlier? Because I've upgraded my armor at least once.
Let's see here. It looks like you still have your leg. It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be pre-leg slicing off.
I see.
So after Savage, but before the leg?
Yes.
Huh. So, what, when we were at Angajik's Bell?
Sometime in that area.
Oh wait, when was the last time we saw one of those things that Arl sent after us?
The crag cats or the. There's like quite a few things that she sent after us.
Yeah. See, we didn't actually see the crag cats on the mountain. We avoided those. We There was some like ghostly things that we fought, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while since we've seen anything of hers.
Well.
How close are you
Well,
inspecting
actually-
the statue?
Actually, I was going to ask then. The frost giants that were gathered. That actually would be potentially a time because they worshipped her.
I suppose
Right?
that's true.
Or they feared her, or they worshipped her. They had some connection to her, so they would have been the last things that we came in contact with. And at that time, we would have had scales, and I wouldn't have been missing my leg yet because the axe did that in the basement of that place. Hawks is gonna walk up within like a couple feet of it and walk around it and inspect the craftsmanship.
Once again, purely divine, even. Masterful. Elegant. Almost looks.
If
Go ahead.
if I don't say so myself. I'm really tempted to chop the leg off and replace it with a stick. Just to make it more accurate to the current version of me.
Do you want to?
I think it would be entertaining to, yeah. Let's see. Do I have any good sticks? I could break one of these chitin javelins into a smaller piece. I'll do that. And then I'll go in and I will attempt to take the leg off and replace it. Give her a better version.
Okay. So, go ahead and make me an. Well, you know what? I wouldn't say this needs an attack
Before
roll.
you do, Meepo's gonna say, Hawks, last time we attacked, Ice and Snow, if I remember right, that was when Savage did it.
I assume you're already
Yeah,
chopping.
but
Or are you chopping or no chopping?
he's got his smith's tools, his chisel and hammer out in his hand right now. He's like, yeah, but that was a big pile of snow that we didn't know what was in it. This is a statue of me. I don't
Made
think.
by divine hands.
I mean, do you think the Frost Maiden's hiding in here?
No, what if they have like some magic that makes them attack us? They look like they could move around any second now,
Hmm.
don't they? It's kind of I wouldn't want to fight this many things all at once, especially not if they're us.
They seem just like statues to me, Villain chimes in.
Do you know detect magic by any chance?
That is a very good question. One moment. As I look through her stat block.
Look through her spellbook, because she's a wizard. You can say that.
I know, but the spell book is in.
I know.
It's in the. Hold on.
Got like, if we want to sit here for 15 minutes, I could cast it.
Right. I'm just double checking. Does she know that? Ah! Huh, as it so happens, I do. One moment. You see as she pulls out her spellbook and kind of waves her wand once, twice, and mutters some arcane words. Let me see here. I'm not sensing any particular magic on the statues. Although this entire place reeks of abjuration. Something's protecting something, but whether it's the statues or the island, difficult to say.
I'm just trying to update it a little bit, you know? But if you guys think it would be better to be cautious, I'll hold for now.
I mean, if Savage isn't here, then apparently Arl's keeping them pretty updated. So next time we run into one of her people, she'll probably update it herself.
Well, fair enough.
Okay, so you put away the tools then.
I just don't like messing with the things that gods just put out there, especially things they work on themselves. Usually they get mad about that kind of thing, from what I know. And as we know, this one is already mad, so making them specifically mad at us when we're trying to kind of get through the island without getting caught doesn't sound like a good idea.
Fair enough, and we should probably keep moving as fast as we can. We don't know how long it takes for the beast, the bird, to come back.
That's true.
So I suggest we hurry. Any objections?
Nope, I agree.
Very well then. Proceed. And she starts walking. And Sopa will lead the way. Bowser. Full force today. And so you will continue forward for a few hundred more feet. You have to walk along an extended area, an extended arm of the mountain. But now you see a different sight. That was a very bad polygon. Hang on. I did not get the whole thing. There we go. Better. Except I still don't see where to. I'm terrible. I'm not used to. Hang on. Polygon. There we go. There's two large polygons. There we go. So, what you will see now. You see a 10-foot tall wall of ice that is broken down in a few separate places, leaving gaps for which you can see another huge garden of ice sculptures, but something's different about this. Roll perception or investigation, your choice. Man, Skanuk coming in clutch.
Rock is a master of investigation. Apparently. That's just how he...
Also, by now,
Oh yeah, that's true.
the blessing would be gone.
Okay.
The emboldening bond.
Fair enough. Let's see something here. Different page. There you are. Okay, that'll be useful for later. As you look upon these statues, Hawks and Scales and Meepo, at first they just seem like regular statues to you, but Skanuk, your heart sinks, because you know immediately what you notice. These statues are not made of ice. Well, they are, on the outside at least, but the inside are people. People,
Oh.
animals, creatures that have been frozen in a thick coating of ice to preserve their remains. You see pirates, hunters, what might be adventurers, even some priestly-looking figures. These are people who have met a terrible fate in a cold embrace of death. What's more, though, is that you notice something else. You see a familiar-looking creature, a hulking, blue-skinned, blue-furred brute, lumbers throughout these sculptures and cadavers. You hear sounds of crunching and snarling as you see an ice troll is currently munching on some of the remains of the cadavers.
Is
Let's
is
not
anything
have
happening to it?
Nothing for these. You see
All the
the
statues would have been fine.
you're crunching them. They're crunching them, it's fine, but something is not fine. Namely, one of the statues that he's now approaching. You see the encapsulated form of Savage, your companion, frozen in ice. And the troll is lumbering towards its next meal. And that's where I'm going to end the session for tonight.
I was gonna look for what kind of spells I had to just cast to stop that.
Alright, there we go. First session of Kobolds back, baby!
Intriguing.
Time to murder a troll.
Right, and once we get this thing back to the ship,
Yeah, once you get back to the ship, you...
Ooh,
we can maybe hopefully do something.
Maybe.
We'll see.
we'll see.
We'll see. Alright. So, thank you all for watching. It's great to be back. Great to be streaming and playing Kobolds again. And hopefully, we'll see you next time. But until then, we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.